Galarraga. Same inning, bases loaded, 2 men out. Jason Bates at the plate. He ends it with a lazy fly ball. Then in the ninth, Chipper Jones strikes again. His second homer of the night gives Atlanta the lead. And when Mark Wohlers struck out Andres Galarraga with the bases loaded again, the Braves were on their way to a 1-game lead. Tonight, the Rockies try to even the score in Game 2 of the division series. Everybody, and welcome to Game 2 in the division series between the Atlanta Braves and the Colorado Rockies. The Braves lead the best-of-5 series, 1-0. We come to you tonight from Coors Field in Denver, Colorado, where the weather a little different than we had last night. Quite a bit cooler, only 47 degrees at game time, wind blowing in from left field at 17 miles an hour. And yes, we might even see a snowflake before we're through playing here tonight. Hi, everybody. Pete Van Wert along with Larry Dierker welcoming you to Denver for Game 2 in this series. We couldn't have asked for a better opener in this series, Larry, and picking out a hero not difficult at all. Third baseman Chipper Jones of Atlanta.
What a game he had. He's a rookie, but he does not play like a rookie. A couple of home runs in the game, but really the biggest contribution came on defense. Andres Galarraga was the hitter. Chipper moved a couple of steps to his right. I asked him why.
Well, Andres has a real open stance and everything, and I know that he has a tendency to pull balls down the line for doubles, and with Greg McMichael on the mound, you know he's going to see a changeup or something off speed, and so I saw the sign from the catcher and took a couple steps over, and next thing I knew, the ball was there.
Then the home run, which was a game winner, as it turned out, a highlight. Did you know it was gone?
No, I didn't. Actually, coming out of the box, I just put my head down and was going to run out a fly ball, and I get to first base, and I see Kingery climbing the wall, hoping to catch it, and I see Atlanta in the bullpen, and I got a little excited. I just feel like I was running about 2 feet off the ground.
Quite a postseason debut for the Braves candidate for Rookie of the Year. Now, in Game 2 tonight, the pitching matchup favors Atlanta again. Colorado would love to get out of here with at least a split. They don't want to lose 2 at home and then have to take it to Atlanta, but a tough pitching matchup for them, Larry.
Well, you've got a couple of left-handers, control pitchers, but Tommy Glavine has a lot more experience.
It is Game 2 in the best-of-5 series, the Braves and the Rockies. But for a preview of all of tonight's action, let's go first to Hannah Storm.
Everybody, I'm Hannah Storm. Welcome to Night 2 of the Division Series. What a start to the postseason celebration last night. Capped off early this morning in Cleveland, bottom of the 13th, former Red Sox catcher Tony Pena at the plate, and Bob Costas with the call.
Oh, man, Tony Pena on 3-0 sends everybody home.
The Indians win, but Albert Bell had his bat confiscated after an 11th inning home run. The Red Sox accusing the home run champ of a corked bat. As you can see, nothing but wood there, setting a controversial stage for Game 2. At Yankee Stadium, Ken Griffey Jr.'s 2 home runs, not enough last night for the Mariners. Tonight they look to even the series and get their first ever postseason win. In the National League, Chipper Jones providing the drama. The Rookie of the Year candidate broke a tie in the top of the 9th inning with his second home run of the game, putting the Braves up with a 1-0 lead over Colorado. And in Los Angeles, Reds lefty John Smiley tries to give Cincinnati a commanding 2-0 lead at Dodger Stadium. Night 2 promises more playoff magic as the division series continue after this from your local station.
Welcome back to Coors Field. The Braves and the Rockies about to meet in Game 2 of this best-of-5 series. Here's tonight's Budweiser Atlanta Braves starting lineup. A little bit of a change from the lineup we saw in Game 1 as Javi Lopez starts behind the plate and bats 6th. Ryan Klesko hits behind him 7th. Tom Glavine on the mound tonight. And facing left-hander Lance Painter, pitching out of the bullpen all season, Larry, except for one start, which he made against Atlanta.
And he pitched 5 strong innings in that ball game, but he has never pitched under pressure like this. He's got only 158 innings of major league experience, partly starting, partly out of the bullpen, and this is obviously the biggest game of his life.
The defense for Colorado, same as it was last night with Bichette, Burks, and Walker in the outfield. Larry Walker with that strong throwing arm, 13 assists, tied him for second in the National League. And Marquise Grissom, Mark Lemke, and Chipper Jones do up here in the top half of the first inning against Lance Painter. Grissom will lead things off. He went 2 for 5 in the opener last night, including a home run that gave the Braves an early lead. But neither one of these managers, when they got a lead, enjoyed it for very long last night.
And the game was so close, and that's why the strategic implications finally led to a pitcher making the last out in the game. It'll be great if this game is anywhere near like last night's.
First pitch on the way to Marquise Grissom. Fly ball deep center field. Going back, Ellis Burks to the wall. This ball is gone. And on the first pitch of the ball game, Marquise Grissom gives the Atlanta Braves a 1-0 lead, his second home run of the series.
What started out as just a little get-ahead fastball turned out to be a get-behind fastball.
1 pitch, 1 run.
Compact swing. You don't have to do anything extra here, like try to pull the ball. Just hit it hard in any direction.
Now Mark Lemke, 1 for 5 last night, taking the ball high and away. Lemke, 3 out of 7 in his career against Lance Painter. And the count goes to 2-0. Now, you pitched for a long time, Larry Dierker, and I'm sure you had games where you give up a home run to a leadoff hitter on occasion. Usually when that happens, it settles a pitcher down.
It's really not a big deal. Certainly, if the trend continues, not home runs, but that they continue to hit the ball hard, it's a little disturbing.
Here's the 3-0 on the way to Lemke, and there's a strike in the outside corner, 3-1.
Generally, what they'll tell you as a young pitcher when you come into the dugout after the first and you've given up a run is, don't worry about it. We had to score to win anyway.
Especially in this ballpark. Here's the 3-1 on the way, and he walks him. And that is not a good sign. Lemke reaching. Still nobody out in the inning, and the batter will be Chipper Jones, the hero of last night's game. His first 2-home run game in the major leagues, and what a spot he picked to do it in. Hit 23 homers during the regular season.
The scary thing about this guy is that he's probably going to get better.
The pitch to Chipper Jones, grounded toward third. Double play possibilities here. On to first. It will not be in time at first. Castilla to Young for the force out of Lemke, but Chipper Jones beats the relay to first. He's the runner there now with 1 down. That'll bring up Fred McGriff, who went 1 for 5 last night. Coming off a 27 home run season. A runner at first, 1 out, 1 run in, and a leadoff homer by Marquise Grissom. Fouled off, 0-1 the count on McGriff.
Rockies are playing McGriff to pull the ball, and I would imagine that Lance Painter will probably try to pitch him away. If he does, McGriff might go the other way.
He is also a double play candidate. Doesn't run all that well. So Painter would love to get a ground ball from him here. Here's the 0-1 on the way. Breaking ball low and outside. Blocked by Girardi. 1 ball, 1 strike.
One of the problems with trying to get a ground ball is that the hitter generally knows that you are trying to get a ground ball, so he's looking for particular pitches, sinkers and sliders. And if you get the late movement, you can still get the ground ball. But if you don't, just getting it low sometimes isn't enough.
Here's the 1-1 on the way to McGriff, and he pops him up. In a shallow left field, Weiss drifting back, Bichette coming on, but it'll be Walt Weiss staying with it, making the catch for out number 2. Back to first goes Chipper Jones, 2 gone for David Justice. What Don Baylor would like to get out of Lance Painter tonight is at least 5 innings. Painter normally a member of his bullpen, but he's been pressed into starting in this series because the Rockies need time for Billy Swift and Brett Saberhagen, who have been pitching with arm ailments all year, to get an extra day of rest or so. They hope to come back in game 3 with Bill Swift, and Saberhagen, if he's healthy enough, if they get to a 4th game, would pitch then. So tonight he needs 5 innings from Painter, then turns the game over to the rest of his bullpen. He has a big pitching staff, 12 pitchers currently being carried. 1 ball, no strikes on Justice, 1 for 2 in the game last night with a couple of walks.
Not the last time, as you look at Saberhagen, that Painter started against the Braves and went 5 strong innings. He had Kevin Ritz to back him up. He does not have Ritz tonight.
Here's the 1-0. Line outside. 2 balls, no strikes on Justice. 1 run in on the Marquise Grissom homer on the very first pitch of the game. Here's the 2-0 on the way. Popped him up. And it looks like he's going to get out of this inning with only that 1-run scoring as Ellis Burks comes on to make the catch. So an inauspicious start for Lance Painter, but he gets out of it trailing just 1-0 as we go to the bottom half of the first. Rockies come to bat in the bottom half of the first inning, trailing 1-0. Here is tonight's Budweiser Colorado Rockies starting lineup. Couple of changes tonight. Ellis Burks moves into the number 2 spot. Joe Girardi drops down to number 7. Vinny Castilla moves up a notch to the number 6 spot on the batting order. Lance Painter on the mound. And the Rockies facing left-hander Tom Glavine, coming off another good year for the Braves, Larry.
16-7 with an ERA of 3.08. If it weren't for Greg Maddux, he'd probably be getting some Cy Young consideration himself. And he is a former Cy Young Award winner.
Back on June 16th, the Atlanta Braves were here in Colorado playing at Coors Field, and Tom Glavine pitched the first shutout ever pitched in Coors Field history. Defensively for Atlanta, Chipper Jones, who began his pro career as a shortstop, doing a stellar job at third base for Atlanta. And our umpiring crew tonight has Jerry Lane behind home plate, Joe West at first, Terry Tata working at second, Harry Wendelstedt over at third, and working the foul lines tonight, Charlie Relaford in left and John McSherry over in right. Here's Eric Young to lead things off against Tom Glavine. Young 2 for 4 with a double in the game last night. Glavine made 3 starts against the Rockies this year. He worked 22 innings in those 3 starts, only gave up 3 earned runs. So he has had success against the Rockies this year. There's a strike in the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike on Young. He'll be followed by Ellis Burks, who moves up to the number 2 spot tonight. And then Dante Bichette. Here's the 1-1. And there's a fly ball into left field. Ryan Klesko in a couple of steps. He's got it 1 down in the bottom of the first. This 1995 Division Series game is brought to you by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Wendy's Spicy Chicken Sandwich. Get it while it's hot. And Beechwood Aged Budweiser, the king of beers. This Bud's for you. 1 man out. Ellis Burks, the batter, moves up to the number 2 spot. He has been a very tough hitter for Atlanta all season long. 436 during the regular season, 2 for 4, driving in 2 runs last night, and he's 4 for 8 lifetime against Glavine.
And as you watch Glavine, you see him work that outside corner. That one low almost exclusively. Maybe 1 pitch, maybe 2 out of every 10. He'll come inside hard just to keep you honest. But he's going to get most of his outs off that outside corner with fastballs and changeups.
Seats down the left field line. The count goes to 2-1. You saw that note on Glavine's first inning. That's a real key inning for him. Although the second half of the year, he was not having nearly as much first inning difficulty as he was the first half of the season. First half of the season, start after start after start, he would give up a run or 2 or 3 sometimes, and then settle down. Second half, he pitched much better at the outset of a game. There's a strike in the outside corner, 2-2.
A big key for Glavine will be the home plate umpire, Jerry Lane, and whether or not he's going to get any latitude off that outside corner. If he gets it, he's going to be double tough.
Now the 2-2 on the way. Inside corner, strike 3 call. Fastball caught Burks looking. Out number 2.
But you keep looking away, looking away, looking away, and if he can make the pitches inside, he will freeze a lot of hitters. And on this pitch, Ellis Burks was frozen.
2 down. That'll bring up Dante Bichette, who finished 3rd in the league in hitting, led the league in homers and RBIs, went 2 for 4 in the opening game last night. A ball and no strikes on Bichette.
One thing that I'm sure you've noticed, Pete, is that Glavine works off the extreme third base side of the pitching rubber. And there's a reason for that. Here's the 1-0. In the air to shallow left
left center field. Back goes Blauser. On comes Klesko. Klesko still coming. Blauser trips over him. The ball bounces loose. Picked up by Marquise Grissom. Let's see if Blauser and Klesko are all right. They collided out there in left center field, and both appear to be hurt. Jeff Blauser's back on his feet. Ryan Klesko is just now returning to his feet. Trainer Dave Pursley and manager Bobby Cox heading out there to see how Blauser and Klesko are.
Now you're looking at one incident that could even the odds in this series in a hurry.
Klesko trying to slide and get out of the way of Jeff Blauser, and Blauser trips right over Klesko's knee.
And this is full speed, which seems a little more dramatic. It looks like Blauser might have twisted a leg. And
they're looking at Blauser's right ankle.
I really think that whatever injuries have occurred are more a result of twist and torque than of collision.
Bichette wound up down at second base, given credit for that two-base hit. You see Ryan Klesko back on his feet, so he's okay. The concern now is over Blauser's right ankle. Watch it here as it hits right behind the knee, and you can see it twist right there under the leg of Ryan Klesko.
Anyone that has played very much basketball has had that injury, and sometimes it can be extremely severe and even worse than a break, and other times it's something you can tape up and go on.
It appears that Jeff Blauser is going to be able to stay in the game. He has played through a lot of injuries this year. He had a knee problem, a jammed knee that kept him out of the lineup for a couple of weeks. He had a...
Plus, he's been in practically a season-long batting slump. Sometimes that expression, when it rains, it pours, is true in baseball. Everything seems to happen in the same season, and it becomes one of those forgettable years. But, of course, if your team goes on and has a great year, that can cover up a lot of it.
So both players stay in the game. Blauser at short, Klesko out in left field after that collision. The batter will be Larry Walker with Dante Bichette down at second. Braves leading the Rockies 1-0, bottom of the first. Walker 1 for 3 in last night's game, another of the 30-homer, 100 RBI members of this Rockies lineup. And a strike in the outside corner. I think, Larry, that Tom Glavine will get those borderline calls tonight because Jerry Lane, the times we've seen him throughout the season, pretty much a pitcher's umpire.
And he'll give you those calls most of the time, and especially if you are consistent and you can make the pitch. The catcher sits on the corner or off the corner, and you put the ball there, and you get the umpire in the habit of making the call.
Tom Glavine spears the comebacker from Walker on the first. And that's it for the Rockies. The bloop double is all they get. We've completed one here in Game 2, with the Braves leading it 1-0.
Back to Coors Field in a moment at Dodger Stadium. 2 outs, bottom of the first. Eric Karros at the plate facing Reds lefty John Smiley. Karros with an RBI double to left field scores Brett Butler to give the Dodgers a 1-0 lead as we go to the top of the second, and they look to even this series with the Cincinnati Reds. Pete and Larry.
Okay, thank you, Hannah. And boy, if you're the LA Dodgers, that's a must-win, just like it is for the Colorado Rockies here. You don't want to lose 2 at home in a best-of-5 series. They take the right ankle of Jeff Blauser as he's due up third in the inning. They'll try to keep him in the ball game.
Yeah, they were really testing it a lot between innings, too.
Bobby Lopez, the batter, deep short, nice backhand play by Walt Weiss on the first, and he got him.
That is a championship play from a guy who's been in the postseason a few times himself.
Doesn't have an exceptionally strong throwing arm, but gets rid of it very quickly, Larry.
And his arm was just strong enough that time. Castilla couldn't get it. Weiss does not draw his arm back far, and that's why he's got such a quick release.
Now Ryan Klesko, 3 for 4 in his first postseason action last night. Takes a strike in the inside corner. He drops down to the 7th spot with a left-hander out there. Lance Painter gave up the leadoff home run to Marquise Grissom that is settling in now. 1 ball, 1 strike on Klesko. see Jeff Blauser. Looks like he'll be all right. He's due up next. Klesko taking a shot at Omaha.
Pretty good heat there. If he'll do that every once in a while, it'll be a little easier for him to get the ground ball on the breaking pitch.
Now the 1-2 on the way. Gave a little sidearm with that one. There's the roll around towards second. Eric Young bobbles it, picks it up on the first. Not in time. And that was a problem the Rockies had in last night's game. They committed 4 errors in the ball game last night.
It's a very confident team offensively, and they did not show any impatience really or any problems at all with the bat, but they show some jitters defensively. And that's really where you would expect it. And you would probably expect it more at second base and left field than some of the other positions.
So Klesko aboard on the error by Young, and now Jeff Blauser hits. He was 0 for 2 last night, coming off a poor offensive year. He only hit .211 for the year. Checking his swing, they want a ruling from the first base up, and Joe West says he went around. The count 0-1.
As they're checking with Jimmy Williams, he's been coming up empty a lot, striking out a lot this year, so it's not likely that you would hit and run with it.
One man out. Klesko, the runner at first. And that missed low and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike, and Blauser.
Watching the Braves over the years with Bobby Cox, they seem to be a patient team by nature. They don't try to force a lot of action with bunting, hitting, and running, stealing.
And that was true even when they had the speed, although when Otis Nixon and Deion Sanders and Ron Gant were around, you used to see the Braves run a lot more. Here's the 1-1. That's up high, and the count 2 balls and a strike.
When you have guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark, and Blauser can. For a shortstop, he has unusual power. You oftentimes don't want to make them swing at a pitch that is not their pitch. You want to allow them to wait for a pitch they can drive.
Klesko gets his lead, and the 2-1 on the way to Blauser. Didn't mean to. And the count even 2-2. Best of 5 playoff history. Back when the League Championship Series used to be best of 5, there were 10 different occasions when a team lost the first game and went on to win the series. So that's what the Rockies are looking at as they play game 2 here tonight. They certainly don't want to lose 2 at home and then have to go to Atlanta with the almost impossible prospect of trying to win 3 straight there.
Almost anything can happen in baseball. The Astros were not playing good ball when they came to play the Braves the first time, and they swept a series in Atlanta. It can be done. It's not the way the Rockies would like to have to do it.
Here's the 2-2 now to Blauser. Got him with a high, tight fastball. Lance Pater records his first strikeout, and that's out number 2 here in the top of the second. And that'll bring up Tom Glavine, one of the better hitting pitchers in the National League. He had a .222 average this year. He hit his first career homer. He drove in 8 runs. A runner at first, 2 gone.
Wisconsin, went to the University of Wisconsin.
1-1 the count down on Tom Glavine.
He was really not a heralded amateur prospect. He was drafted in the 25th round by the Padres and came over the 4th selection, the 2nd round of the expansion draft to the Rockies.
Here's the 1-1 out of Tom Glavine, up the middle, off the glove of Painter, and into shallow center field, run down by Eric Mike Young. It'll be a base hit for Tom Glavine. The runners are at first and second with 2 men out, and back to the top of the order, and Marquise Grissom. One of the things, Larry, that the Braves have paid a lot of attention to over the last couple of years is pitchers hitting. Every day, one of the pitchers that is not starting that game will work with Jimmy Williams or Jim Beecham, who take care of that. And it's really helped all of them.
When you consider that the pitcher is 1 out of 9 guys that will come to the plate. Of course, he hits 9th, so he's a little bit less than 1/9 of the total attack, but still a significant part of the total attack. It's worth working on.
Marquise Grissom on the first pitch of tonight's game homered to deep center field to give Atlanta the 1-0 lead that they currently own. High and tight, 1 ball, no strikes. He has hit 2 home runs now in this series. Grounds this one to short. Another backhand play by Weiss. Goes to second in time for the force on Tom Glavine. 2 nice plays by Walt Weiss in the inning. The Braves come up empty. Still lead at 1-0 going to the bottom of the second.
Sandwich today.
Atlanta leads at 1-0 going to the bottom half of the second. Tomorrow is a travel day in the division series, so check out the most watched night on television. Must-see TV NBC Thursday. All new episodes of Friends, The Single Guys, Seinfeld, Caroline in the City, and the biggest drama hit on television, ER. They don't call it must-see TV for nothing, and you can catch all new episodes tomorrow night on NBC. Andres Galarraga leading off from Coors Field here in the bottom half of the second inning. He was 2 for 5 last night. Takes the first one from Glavine, high and away, ball 1.
Galarraga with that extreme open stance, but he closes it as he strides into the pitch.
That's fouled away. 1 ball, 1 strike. You were commenting an inning ago, Larry, on Glavine's position on the pitching rubber, way over on that third base side.
What it does is it gives him a little edge, and it gives him an edge on the outside corner where he likes to shoot. It gives him an angle, so to speak. He could nip the corner of the plate as he did there, and Javi Lopez will set up out there and actually catch the ball wide of the corner. When it passes the hitting zone, it may be off the plate, but it may be on the plate when it goes across the front corner.
Down the right side.
And when the umpire sets up a strike zone, it's not where the catcher catches it. It's the front edge of the plate. And that's what Jerry Lane will be looking at. And if he thinks that ball nips that corner as it goes by, he doesn't care where Lopez catches it.
And again, the 1-2 to Galarraga, and again it's fouled away.
And that's one reason that hitters will sometimes move up in the batter's box, because they want the hitting zone to be as far forward as possible. They don't want to have to hit the ball back off the back edge of the plate where it might be wide.
And again, the 1-2 on the way. Got the inside corner. Same pitch he threw to Ellis Burks when he got 2 strikes on him after going away, then coming back inside. Second strikeout for Glavine, 1 down.
When a hitter sees 6 or 7 pitches away, he just is not prepared to hit that pitch inside.
Vinny Castilla, the batter, 2 for 3 last night with a double, a home run. He drove in 2 runs and was pinch run for. And that was the beginning of the sequence of moves Don Baylor made that ran him out of players, where he had to pinch hit Lance Painter with 2 outs in the 9th inning. And the first pitch to Castilla is taken low, ball 1. More activity going on in tonight's division series. Once again, here's Hannah Storm.
Pete at Dodger Stadium. Dodgers still with a 1-0 lead. The Reds' Benito Santiago had that big home run last night for Cincinnati. Would he have another one? Well, no. Raul Mondesi makes the play, but then he bangs his neck against the fence. Appeared to be hurting. He's already playing with torn cartilage in his knee. But good news for the Dodgers, he stayed in the game. Still 1-0.
And like Jeff Blauser, Raul Mondesi, Larry, trying to play hurt in these division playoffs. Javi Lopez almost tripped over the bat. And Vinny Castilla rolled out in front of the plate, but Lopez makes the play. 2 gone. And that'll bring up Joe Girardi, the catcher.
We talked about Glavine working away, and that his strikeouts in this game have both come on called strikes on the inside corner to right-handed batters, Burks and Galarraga. And that's where you have to give Glavine a lot of credit, because when you throw most of your pitches away, you gain mastery of that corner.
Well, Glavine will tell you he has much more confidence in that inside fastball this year, because his fastball now is about 4 or 5 miles an hour quicker than it was back in 1991 when he won the Cy Young Award. And he credits that to the throwing program that Braves starting pitchers are on. They throw twice between starts instead of once. That's an old Johnny Sane theory that Leo Mazzoni, the Braves pitching coach,
You'll have them play catch the day after they pitch, and then they'll throw from the mound the next 2 days, and then play catch again the day before they pitch. And Leo says that's why a lot of pitchers used to throw hard, because they threw a lot.
2-0 the count now on Girardi, 1 for 3 in last night's contest. And this one is popped up. Fred McGriff drifting into foul territory. He is there for the catch. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Tom Glavine. The Braves continue their 1-0 lead as we head to the third here at Coors Field. Lead the Rockies 1-0. We go to the top of the third. A reminder, Friday night at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. The playoffs continue with Game 3 of the division series. The scene shifts to Atlanta as the Braves play host to the Rockies. Some of you will see one of the other division series games. Check your local listings. Regional coverage of Game 3 begins Friday night at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. It'll be John Smoltz, Billy Swift hooking up in that third game of this best-of-5 series. Mark Lemke leads off the third. He walked in the first. Lines this one to right center field. Ellis Burks coming on. That's going to drop in. Base hit for Lemke. Hit number 3 for Atlanta off Lance Painter.
The pitch is away. Didn't try to do too much with it. Hit it off the end of the bat. Looped it into right center. Did it just the way they teach it.
And that'll bring up Chipper Jones, who went into a 5-4 force play back in the first inning. 1 ball, no strikes. The hero of Game 1.
That guy gives a lot of signs, probably more than any coach in baseball, and almost none of them mean anything.
Here's the 1-0. And that's it for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike now on Chipper Jones. He'll take another look down at Jimmy Williams. Painter deals the 1-1. He drops a bunt down the third base line. Lance Painter picks it up. He's going to have to stick it in his pocket. That's a bunt single for Chipper Jones.
Are you sure he's a rookie?
He plays like a 30-year-old, doesn't he?
He does what the really great ball players always seem to do. Make it look easy.
That is the 4th hit off Painter. Runners now at first and second for Fred McGriff, who popped out to short back in the first inning. Nobody out here in the top of the third. Runners first and second.
There may be, Pete, some wisdom in starting a left-handed pitcher who has been in the bullpen against the Braves, because left-handers coming out of the bullpen generally face left-handed batters, and the Braves have some good ones. Left-handed starters are more used to facing right-handed batters.
Downstairs to McGriff again. The count 2-0. Well, as we mentioned earlier, when he got that start against the Braves back in September during the regular season, he responded with 5 solid innings. Had a lot of run support. The final score of that game was 12-2 Rockies. Painter picked up the win. Ground ball foul by McGriff, 2-1. It's not like starting in something brand new to Lance Painter. He's not one of those guys who came up through the minor league system as a relief pitcher. He started all the way through the minor leagues. Moved the bullpen when he came back to Colorado this year. He actually started for the Rockies last year. Made 14 starts in 1994.
starting is that you will face a string of right-handed batters, and you get used to pitching them away, especially in a park where the home run is a big factor. And you work so much on your sinker and your changeup that your breaking ball sometimes suffers.
2-2 now, McGriff.
As you start throwing that breaking ball to right-handed hitters, somebody gets under it and out in front of it, and it's gone. But when you pitch out of the bullpen and you face a lot of left-handed batters, then you start throwing a lot of breaking balls. And so, in a way, it could be good for a pitcher, especially a young pitcher, to do a little of both, so you develop the ability to pitch effectively against both left-handed and right-handed hitters.
Now the 2-2 on the way to McGriff. He started to go, and he went, says Harry Wendelstedt. McGriff is down on strikes. That's the second strikeout for Lance Painter.
Did you think that Harry Wendelstedt short-armed that call?
It's a cold night. It's a cold night. These umpires are wrapped up, too.
He did get around.
So
most of the time, when you watch it live, it looks like the guy didn't swing, but when you replay it, you see a different picture.
Now David Justice, who flied to center his first time up. Chipper Jones, the runner at first. Mark Lemke at second. One man out. We're in the top of the third. Atlanta leading 1-0. Marquise Grissom led off the game with a home run on the first pitch of the night. This one drifting foul up into the seats. And the count 0-1 on Justice. Boy, he's taken a lot of shots the other way in this series.
Yeah, he really has. Another interesting phenomenon that you will see here in Denver that you won't see much in other parks is the balls that appear to be slicing down the line don't slice very much. The air resistance that makes it more difficult to throw breaking pitches also reduces the movement on slicing and hooking balls off the bat.
And especially now the wind has shifted a little bit from the way it was blowing when the game began. It was blowing straight in from left field. Now it's more of a left field out to right field wind. So a ball hit right down that line in left.
Could stay fair.
Could stay fair. It's going to get some help from the wind. Fielders out in left field are going to have to watch that. 2-1 the count now on Justice. The crowd here wanted the strike call.
Yeah, do you know how hard it is to stand in on a pitch like that? That pitch looked like it was going right at Justice's right shoulder, and he never budged.
Here's the 2-1 delivery, and that's high, 3-1. Justice has always been a pretty good hitter against left-handed pitchers, and if you ask him why, he'll tell you, well, when I was growing up as a youngster in Cincinnati, all my friends were lefties. And we'd go out for those pickup games on the sandlot, and I'd always be facing left-handed.
You see, that's why he's such a strange guy, because all of his friends were left-handed. It rubbed off.
Here's the 3-1. And he walks it, and that loads the bases. Bases loaded, one man out. Javi Lopez will be the batter. And now it's time for tonight's Toyota Diamond Dust baseball fact. Coors Field is hosting a postseason game in its very first season of operation. Can you name 5 other current stadiums that hosted postseason games in their first season? We'll have the answer for you in the bottom half of the inning. Bases loaded, one out. Javi Lopez grounded out to short his first time up. Larry Bernard, the Rockies pitching coach, who has done a terrific job with this Rocky staff in just 3 years in a ballpark that most pitchers dread coming to. He has got these guys believing in themselves here and understanding that you're not going to be quite as effective here as you will be on the road. But you can still win.
That's the important obstacle to overcome. Most of these guys have been successful all their lives as pitchers, and they're not used to giving up 4 and 5 runs a game. But a lot of times you can do that and win here.
Strikes on Javi Lopez. Bases loaded, one man out, 1-0 Atlanta. Here's the 1-0. In the air, deep left field. Dante Bichette started in, now goes back and makes the catch on the warning track. Tagging up at third is Lemke. He will score. Moving over to third, Chipper Jones. It's now 2-0 Atlanta. As Lopez gets the run home with a sac fly to left. 2-0 Atlanta in the top half of the third inning. 2 men out, runners at first and third. Pete Van Weer and Larry Dierker with you from Coors Field. Braves got a run on the very first pitch of this game when Marquise Grissom hit a home run over the center field wall. They've just scored again on a Javi Lopez sacrifice fly. And now Ryan Plesko, who was safe on Eric Young's error his first time up. 0-1 the count. Chilly night here in Coors Field. 47 degrees at game time, a 17-mile-an-hour wind.
That's just the way we like it.
Absolutely. In October, it wouldn't be postseason if we didn't have this cool weather. Down the right field line by Klesko. But this ball is going to be fouled up into the seats. And the count on Ryan goes to 0-2.
If Bowie Kuhn were here, he'd be wearing a golf shirt.
That's right. Lance Painter out of the Rockies bullpen. He started just one game for them this year. Getting the start tonight. Trying to work out of further trouble here. First and third, 2 outs. And the 0-2. Klesko is low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Klesko early in the year was being platooned. It was right around the All-Star break when Ryan began playing against both lefties and righties. Here's the 1-2 from Painter, and it's high. Fastball missing. 2-2.
Get as many favors from Jerry Lane because his control has been more erratic. He got the catcher reaching back and forth instead of throwing the ball right to him.
The runner at first, Justice, will be taking off here. 3-2 pitch. On the way to Klesko. He got him. Struck him out with a fastball. That's his third strikeout.
Back to Coors Field in a moment, checking in on the action at Yankee Stadium. Scoreless game, top of the third. Vince Coleman at the plate. He's had key hits since joining the Mariners, and he gets a big one tonight going opposite field for a solo home run off Yankees rookie starter Andy Pettitte. The Mariners looking to even this series with the Yankees. They take a 1-0 lead in the third. Pete and Larry.
Thank you, Hannah. Vince Coleman used to score by bunting, stealing second, swiping third, coming home in a ground ball. Now he's going long.
And that's not been unusual for him lately.
No, not lately. Grand slam down the stretch for the Mariners. This is Walt Weiss 0 for 2 in the first game of this series. The 0-2 pitch on the way from Glavine. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pitcher Lance Painter will follow in what he thought would be his first at-bat of this series.
Weiss leading off has been a good situation for the Rockies this year. He's got a great on-base average with those 98 walks.
Outside corner. Caught looking is Walt Weiss.
Of course, Weiss believes that pitch was outside, and it may have been, but once again, Glavine pretty much owns that corner.
Dodgers still on top. Mariners, with the Vince Coleman home run, have taken the lead over the Yankees. And still no score in Cleveland, where they hope that game will end a little earlier tonight. Here is Lance Painter, who was put into a very awkward position last night. Don Baylor had run out of position. Players had to use Lance Painter as a pinch hitter with 2 outs in the 9th inning. Baylor did receive some criticism for that from the Denver media today, but I liked his comment, Larry. He said, hey, we had many opportunities in all those bases-loaded situations to get a hit to tie or put us ahead in that ball game. It wasn't Lance Painter's fault.
It certainly wasn't his fault, and I don't think it was Baylor's fault either, because he tried to seize the opportunities early, and he was unable to try to seize the one late because of it.
1 ball, 1 strike on Painter. 1 for 9 during the regular season. Here's a bouncing ball out toward short. Glauser. Across to Fred McGriff. And they were 2 down. Now let's give you tonight's Toyota Diamond Dust answer. The question was, can you name 5 other current stadiums that hosted postseason games in their first season? Well, some pretty famous ones. Fenway Park, Yankee Stadium, Riverfront, Three Rivers, and the Skydome. Eric Young fly to left his first time up. Glavine has set down 6 in a row since that blue double by Dante Bichette when Blauser and Klesko collided out in left center. Low and inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Must be great for your confidence as a pitcher, Larry, when you've already pitched a shutout in this ballpark. One of only 2 that's been pitched here all year.
Yeah, it really is so much a part of the game, the mental aspect. That's why when a team is slumping or a pitcher is slumping, you have trouble breaking that streak, because though you try to talk yourself into a confident attitude, deep down, it's not there.
The only other shutout pitched here all year was by the Florida Marlins' Pat Rapp, and that was a 1-hitter. That's back out of play, 1-2. We're in the bottom of the 3rd with 2 outs. Here's the 1-2 on the way, and it's upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You saw Glavine's numbers against Colorado. Keep in mind as you watch these 2 teams play that in their brief history of playing each other, the Atlanta Braves are now 31-6 in their 37 meetings with the Rockies. So they have more than dominated them. Up the middle by Eric Young. That's going to get into center field. Base hit. Hit number 2 off of Tom Glavine. Young aboard for Ellis Burks.
Well, the Braves came in earlier, and Glavine pitched that shutout. Eric Young had not yet worked his way into that leadoff spot. He has really been a catalyst. So this is a little bit different team now than the Braves dominated earlier, and the Rockies did win 2 out of 3 more recently against the Braves here at Coors Field.
Yes, they did. One of those was an extra inning 5-4 victory that Don Baylor called one of the more important victories in the franchise history at that time, because the Rockies had to come from behind to tie up that game first of all, and then went on to win it in extra innings against a team that they had so much trouble beating. Ellis Burks takes the first one low, ball 1. Burks caught looking his first time up.
He's done some real fine hitting for the Rockies this year, because those numbers represent less than half a season of at-bats.
Yeah, this one misses low, the count 2-0.
278 at-bats, 49 RBIs, and 41 runs scored. That's excellent production.
Young, the runner at first. Here's the 2-0, and that caught the outside corner. The count 2-1.
When Burks first came up with the Red Sox, I felt that he was going to become a superstar. He reminded me a lot of Henry Aaron, the way he swung the bat, and the ease and the grace with which he played. But injuries have really taken a toll on him.
Glavine deals the 2-1, and that just missed. The count now 3-1. Ellis Burks with Dante Bichette waiting on deck. Fouled off at the plate, 3-2. This will get the runner moving. Eric Young at first.
The Rockies have already noticed, obviously, that Glavine can hit the outside corner, and that he's getting calls out there and maybe beyond from the umpire. So now they start to play Glavine's game, and they start to swing at those pitches that are off the plate. There is no future in that.
Now remember last at bat when he got 2 strikes on Burks, he came inside with a fastball, caught him looking. Tried to do it again, fly ball center field. Marquise Grissom There for the catch. That's it for the Rockies. Still 2-0 Braves after 3. Will return with the 1995 Division Series after this from your local.
Back to Coors Field in a moment. First, the action at Dodger Stadium. Top of the fourth, LA up 1-0. The Reds' Reggie Sanders at the plate with a man on, and Sanders with a 2-run home run. The first hit of the night off Dodger starter Ismael Valdez to dead center. The Reds take a 2-1 lead. Then in the bottom of the inning, Eric Karros of the Dodgers responds with a solo shot off John Smiley. Earlier, Karros had hit an RBI double, so he has driven in both runs for the Dodgers. We're tied up. It's now in the fifth. Pete.
Thank you, Hannah. And you know, Larry, you could make an argument and find some buyers for Eric Karros for MVP in the National League this year.
You certainly could. The Dodgers obviously were affected in a vastly negative way when Piazza went out, and so it's obvious how much he means to them. But Karros has been the steady guy that's been in there all year long.
One out after the ground out to third by Blauser. Here's Glavine, Braves pitcher, who had a base hit back in the second. And he takes a strike from Lance Painter. So far, Lance Painter has done a pretty good job of keeping his Rockies in this game. Don Baylor wants at least 5 innings out of him tonight. There's a bunt down the third base side by Glavine. The pickup by Castillo. The throw on to first. Strong throwing arm. Gets Tom Glavine. Good play. 2 down. This 1995 Division Series game is brought to you by Network MCI, how to get modern communications technology working for your business. Texaco Clean System 3 gasolines. And Chevrolet, the cars and trucks 36 million people depend on every day. Genuine Chevrolet. 2 men out. Marquise Grissom will be the hitter. On the very first pitch of this game off Lance Painter, he gave the Braves the lead.
Had the effect of quieting a rather festive crowd in a hurry.
Most of them had barely gotten into their seats. 1 ball, no strikes, the count on Grissom. There's another drive deep left field. Dante Bichette going back to the wall, and this one's gone. Second homer of the night, third of the series for Marquise Grissom. And Atlanta now leads it 3-0. Grissom, who hit only 12 homers during the regular season, has hit 3 in 8 at-bats in this series.
Well, he went down and hit a good pitch.
That brings up Mark Lemke, who has walked and singled.
But that's the exact pitch you want to make in this ballpark. Sometimes you make a pitch and a guy does something like that and just leaves you standing out there shaking your head.
Hey, sometimes hitters hit good pitches, too.
They sure do.
1 ball, 1 strike at Lemke.
Because they will tell you that they also pop up pitches that are right down the middle from time to time.
Grounded toward third, backhanded by Castillo. The throw across. And that's the third out. But another Marquise Grissom home run, his third of this series, has given Atlanta a 3-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the fourth. See. 3-0 Atlanta leading Colorado as we go to the bottom half of the fourth inning in game 2 of this best-of-5 series. Chilly night here at Coors Field. Temperature in the low 40s with the wind blowing, but hey, these fans are used to this. Rockies on a road trip just before the season ended. It's a good thing they were. They had a 9-inch snowfall here in Denver. It was gone by the next day. But you can expect any kind of weather here in April and October. Dante Bichette had the bloop double. Blauser and Klesko collided in left center his first time up. Led the league in homers, led the league in RBIs. He's 3 out of 5 in the series. On to short. Jeff Blauser up with it. Long throw to first is in time.
One thing to notice on that play is that Blauser really executed a lot of footwork and appeared to have no problem with his ankle. ball off.
Here's Larry Walker. Bounce to the pitcher his first time up. Another ground ball. Griff has this one. Glavine there to cover. And quickly 2 are out here in the top half of the 4th inning. That'll bring up Andres Galarraga. You know, one thing, Larry, that the Atlanta infielders will tell you is, as far as positioning themselves for ground balls, it's a lot easier to do when you've got controlled pitchers out there who you know are going to make the pitches that the catcher's calling for. Guys like Greg Maddux and like Tom Glavine.
You can get an instinct or a hunch for where the ball's going to be hit and get a head start.
Galarraga caught looking his first time up. That's the first one. Ball 1.
Chipper Jones on the ground ball that was hit by Bichette. He knows it's a breaking ball in, so he starts moving toward the line.
Same move he made on Galarraga last night when he made that great play in the 8th inning.
And of course, it was a false move on that particular pitch because Bichette did not pull it down the line, but it was the type of pitch he could have pulled down the line.
But when you're making that move, you're also telling your pitcher that you're confident he's going to make the pitch that's called for, and he's going to make it in the spot that the catcher wants it. 1-1 on the way. On a play right side, 1-2. They talk a lot about how fast-working pitchers get a lot of plays made behind them because the fielders stay sharp. Hey, control pitchers get the same thing no matter how quickly they work.
And fast-working control pitchers really get a lot of plays made. Blauser's become a pretty good shortstop. He was more of a hitting shortstop when he came up, but he's a pretty good fielder now.
Here's the 1-2. Another ground ball to short. And a very easy inning for Tom Glavine. 3 ground balls. The Rockies are down in order, and at the end of 4 complete, it's still Atlanta 3, Colorado 0.
It's a big yard, though. So I mean, it's got the fences aren't short or anything like that, and you still got to hit it, you know, a little bit.
Everybody knows that the ball jumps in Colorado. I mean, everybody knows it. You ask any player in the league, and everybody feels like if they could play half their games here, they would have better numbers than they do.
Well, Larry, Dante Bichette has taken a little heat this year for hitting so many of his home runs here at hitter-friendly Coors Field. I guess it's sort of a predictable
response. And it depends on your perspective.
Yeah. Chipper Jones hits a ground ball toward Eric Young. The first in time.
Sometimes you will see a discrepancy from home to road for a player that doesn't play in a hitter-friendly park. And I would venture to say a lot of the home runs Bichette has hit here at home would have been home runs in other parks as well.
But you can tell by that comment how sensitive he is to that issue after hearing so much about it all year. And you can also tell how much David Justice enjoys coming here.
Pretty consistent results there among all the players on the Rockies team.
Fred McGriff is 0 for 2. He has popped out to short and struck out in the top half of the 5th inning. Braves on top 3-0.
Chipper Jones with 2 home runs in last night's game. How many do you think none or both would have gone in Atlanta?
Well, the first one, I think, maybe would not have gone out. That first one just barely made it into the first row of seats out there in right field. Second one, I think. Well, I don't know. Second one, too. Right center. Maybe neither one of them would have gone.
They were very high, and the ball can carry well in Atlanta. Atlanta has some altitude, too. But it doesn't always carry like it does here.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Fred McGriff. 1 man out. Inside of the fastball, 2-2.
And in Fulton County Stadium is the launching pad. What is this?
Well, I don't know. They're going to have a name for it, though. Beyond Coors Field, believe me, there will be a nickname for this place. Just like the Blake Street Bombers have come up with their own nickname in one short year. It's the street that runs right alongside this ballpark. 3-2 the count now on Fred McGriff. Looking at some of those Blake Street Bombers even as we speak. Here comes the 3-2 now to Fred McGriff. And he strikes him out. Lance Painter. Picks up his 4th strikeout. Second time he's gotten Fred McGriff. Reds and Dodgers still tied. Bottom half of the 5th inning. Mariners and the Vince Coleman home run still leading the Yankees, and still no score in Cleveland. Here is David Justice, who flied to center in the 1st inning and walked in the 3rd.
Painter has some good lively stuff here tonight. He's got a lot of movement, late movement. He's got some velocity, but his control has certainly not been as good as Glavine's.
Justice. Dante Bichette wearing a glove out there in each hand on this cool night. Could be interesting if a throw is necessary. There's a called strike to Justice in the count 0-2.
Certainly wouldn't want to pitch with a glove on my hand, although a white glove might be nice.
Steps back in behind him, the count 0-2.
Wear that Johnny Allen white sweatshirt and a white glove. Could be effective.
Justice just got a piece of that one. The count remains 0-2 on David. 3 runs, 5 hits for Atlanta. No runs, 2 hits for the Rockies. We're in the top half of the 5th inning. Justice, a 1-2-3 inning, still 3-0 Atlanta.
Back to Coors Field in a moment in Cleveland. We got Eddie Murray on 3rd. Manny Ramirez at the plate facing Eric Hansen of the Red Sox. And Hansen strikes out Ramirez with a curveball. He hadn't thrown the curve for about 15 starts this year because of an injury. But it's back now, and he's struck out 4, allowing just 2 hits. Pete and Larry.
Thank you, Hannah. That's a little bit of a different ball game than they had last night.
What would you have bet on 5 innings of scoreless baseball at Jacobs Field with those 2 clubs hitting?
We've got a 3-0 ball game here. Atlanta on top. Vinny Castilla leads off the bottom half of the 5th inning. Castilla thrown out catcher to first his first time up. 1 ball, no strikes. Castilla, Girardi, and Weiss. If anyone reaches the pitcher's spot, is due up, and there is activity now for the first time tonight out in the Colorado bullpen. A roller toward 3rd. Chipper Jones fields, throws, and gets Castilla. Another good play by Chipper Jones, who's having himself quite a series.
This is a play where you might see an infielder go out of control, but Jones, a big guy, stays in control.
And the remarkable thing about his play at 3rd base this year, he really never played there before. He was a shortstop when he was signed, coming up through the minor leagues. He made the ball club 2 years ago as the starting left fielder after Ron Gant left the team, and then tore up his knee in spring training, missed an entire year.
A lot of shortstops who move over to 3rd base will tell you that they find it more difficult because of the angle.
Girardi fouled out his first time. There's another ground ball. Boy, Tom Glavine is getting a bunch of those. And if you get those in this ballpark, you're doing okay. That is Steve Reed in the Colorado Rockies bullpen.
The angle at 3rd, what makes it so difficult is a shortstop sees the pitch come in, and then he sees the batted ball come back out. The 3rd baseman loses the ball momentarily through the hitting zone. So it just comes at him. He doesn't really see it go in and come back out the way a shortstop does.
8 of the 14 outs recorded so far by Tom Glavine have been on infield grounders, including the last 5 in a row. He got Weiss in a strikeout back in the 3rd. Here's the 1-0. Over but low, ball 2, 2-0. circle. If Weiss reaches, Hubbard will pinch hit for Lance Painter. Here's the 3-0 pitch, and he walked on 4 straight.
I guess if you're going to have a lapse, you might as well have it all to the same hitter and have it be the 8-hitter with 2 outs in the inning.
You know, you look at that list, a lot of people don't realize where Tom Glavine stands in relationship to his teammate Greg Maddux. Ahead of McDowell, ahead of Cohn, ahead of Randy Johnson, ahead of Roger Clemens. He is right there.
He's had a good team behind him during those years, but that is not the whole story. He has been very durable and very consistent.
Trinidad Hubbard, the pinch hitter. He came up from the minor leagues, hit .310 in 24 games with 3 home runs and 9 RBIs for the Rockies this year. Used as a pinch runner last night for Castilla. And fouls off the first pitch, 0-1. Well, Don Baylor can't complain about the job Lance Painter gave him tonight. He wanted 5 innings out of him. He got 5 innings out of him. Giving up only 3 runs, and in this ballpark, that's nothing.
Most of the time, if you pitch the 5 innings it takes to qualify and give up 3 runs in this park, you will be in position to get a win.
1 ball, 1 strike now on Hubbard.
Hubbard came up through the Astros organization and was known as Trent Hubbard, a nickname. He's gone back to his given name.
Weiss gets his lead. McGriff holds him. And throws over. Glavine does a pretty good job holding runners. Usually goes to that slide step toward the plate. Keep them from getting a big jump.
The determination for a pitcher to make, and the hitters will tell you, is does it affect your stuff? If you can't get people out with a slide step, you better let the runners run.
And the count goes to 2-1. All of a sudden, Glavine's control here in the 5th inning. Got the first 2 outs relatively quick fashion, then walked Walt Weiss on 4 straight. Now he's fallen behind Hubbard 2 balls and a strike.
Obviously, the hitters have told Glavine that he can use the slide step and still pitch effectively.
Into center field, Marquise Grissom in his tracks for out number 3. The ball was hit hard, but Grissom there for the catch. And at the end of 5, it is still Atlanta 3, Colorado 0. 3-0 Atlanta as we go to the top half of the 6th inning. The new pitcher for the Rockies, right-hander Steve Reed. He worked an inning in last night's game. In fact, he works an inning in almost every night's game, as you can see, by 71 appearances. That's a lot of times getting up and warming up and coming in, and he had a good year.
Most of the time, a guy who throws sidearm or below, like Reed, will be a little more durable. Don't seem to take as much out of your arm.
Yeah, they say that's the most natural way to throw a baseball. And when have you ever heard of a sidearm pitcher going out with a bad arm? Think about it. Guys that throw sidearm hardly ever have arm trouble.
Ken Tacoli, a great example of that.
Javi Lopez will lead off here in the top half of the 6th inning. He is 0 for 1. He did drive in one of the Atlanta runs with a sacrifice fly to left back in the 3rd. That wind blowing in again from left field. That's the way it was blowing when the ball game began. It shifted blowing out toward right a little bit. But now again it's blowing in. As Lopez leads off here in the top half of the 6th inning. And takes a breaking ball for a strike in the inside corner, 0-1. Painter worked 5 innings, allowed 5 hits, 3 runs. He walked 2, struck out 4. Over the glove of Walt Weiss into left center field. Lopez aboard with a leadoff single.
Pitch right over the middle of the plate. That's what you hope for when you're facing a guy like this, because he's throwing from an angle that you're not really used to.
Now Ryan Klesko reached on an error back in the 2nd. Went down on strikes in the 3rd.
Just that different release point is an advantage to the pitcher. Pitch outside. The disadvantage is that generally speaking you cannot throw as hard sidearm or submarine as you can if you come over the top.
Yeah, most sidearm farmers depend more on movement. This pitch hit high in the air out to right center field. Back goes Ellis Burks to the warning track to the wall. He's got it leaning against the wall in right center. And back to first, Javi Lopez. Ryan Klesko flirting with yet another home run. But it stayed in the ballpark, 1 out.
That ball appeared to be pretty well hit. And we may have a wind effect here. I think ordinarily this shot would be gone.
Now we showed you that breeze blowing in quite strongly now from left field, and that's going to hold up a ball a little bit. Anywhere but down the right field line. Here's Jeff Blauser, who has struck out and grounded out.
You almost got the feeling as Burks chased that ball that he was prepared to start climbing the fence
again. He looked like he was ready to. Here's the pitch on the way to Blauser. Takes a strike in the outside corner. The count 0-1. The Braves have gotten 2 home runs tonight from Marquise Grissom. And they lead it 3-0. We're in the top half of the 6th inning with 1 out. Lopez at first. Is something that Jeff Blauser has become very adept at. During the regular season, he was hit by pitches 12 times. Second only to Craig Biggio in the National League.
It's a great way to approach the inside pitch, too, by turning in. Because as you can see from that posture, there's really no place the ball can hit you except for the elbow or the knee where it's going to really do serious damage. If you turn in, you can also turn your head away from the ball. If you try to fall back, sometimes you can get hit in some vulnerable places.
Runners at first and second. That'll bring up Tom Glavine, who was singled and grounded out. He was squaring, and he takes a strike. The count 0-1. Now we've got something else going on in one of our other division series. For an update, let's go back to Hannah Storm.
Pete, we have a pitcher's duel going on in Cleveland. Top of the 5th, Oral Hershiser in his first American League postseason game strikes out John Valentin with a man on second to get out of the inning. He's allowed 3 hits and struck out 5 through 5. No score at the Jake. Pete and Larry.
Okay, thank you, Hannah. Unbelievable.
Yeah, the Mr. October of pitchers.
You get all those home run hitters together in a ballpark like Jacobs Field, and you get 5 scoreless innings. Oral Hershiser having one of his best years in a long time. And doing it for the Indians tonight. 1-2 the count now, and Glavine failed to get the bunt down. He led the Braves in sacrifice hits this year with 8.
You think they would continue to have him bunt?
I think
strikes in the count. He's a pretty good hitter, though.
He is a pretty good hitter, but I think here they're going to have him bunt again.
With most teams, once you get the bunt sign, it's on unless it's taken off. That way you don't have to flash it over and over again and give the other team a chance to steal it.
Glavine again squares, and he pops the bunt foul, and this time he does not get the job done. And that is a strikeout for Steve Reed. Out number 2.
Where they get the head of that bat out in front. Got it back a little bit and angled down. What you try to do is keep your top hand above your bottom hand and the head of the bat out in front of home plate. That time the top hand dropped below the bottom hand and the bat dropped back a little bit as he tried to go down the third base side, and he failed.
So there are 2 outs now. Runners first and second, and here is Marquise Grissom, who has 2 home runs on the night. In 3 trips, he had a home run last night, so he has 3 home runs in 8 at-bats in this series. Also a double last night.
You really can't let your failure to get a bunt down bother you too much, because your main responsibility is on the mound. But really, for a starting pitcher, you are expected to be a good bunter. You're not expected necessarily to get a lot of hits. So there is a little more a sense of failure when you don't get a bunt down than when perhaps you strike out trying to hit.
Foul back by Grissom. The count even now, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And it's a lot easier easier to be philosophical about it when you've got a 3-run lead.
3-0, a little easy, but you can tell that Tom Glavine is still upset about that.
One of the great assets in pitching is poise and not letting things affect you. And that's why many people say that great pitchers are born and not made. A lot of it is in the disposition.
2-1 the count now on Grissom. Blauser the runner at first. Lopez down at second. 2 outs. Little dribbler down the first base line. Picked up by Girardi on the first. Close play, but in time. And that is all for Grissom. That is all for Atlanta. We go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. It's still 3-0 Braves.
It's something when I first came to Denver, they told me about the Denver fans. I didn't believe it. You know, they talked about the support of the Broncos, and they've stuck with us. The very first year, you know, we win 63 ball games, and they stayed with us. And our reward to them was last Sunday walking around this field after we clinched a spot for the playoffs.
A tremendous success story here in Denver, Colorado. That's really what's enabled them to do what they've been able to do in just 3 short years. They averaged 47,000 plus per home game again this year.
And a great home record. They came from 6 runs back to win on the final day of the season to get into this playoff series. And I'm sure the fans here tonight believe they can come back and win this game.
Eric Young pops this one up. Left side of the infield. Blauser on the edge of the outfield grass. Makes the catch. 1 out in the bottom half of the 6th. This 1995 Division Series game is brought to you by Buick and your local dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. USSB, changing the way you look at TV. And Beechwood Aged Budweiser, the king of beers. This Bud's for you. 1 man out. Here's Ellis Burks. A strikeout and a fly out to center so far tonight. One of the reasons he was elevated to the number 2 spot on the batting order tonight was because of his success against Tom Glavine in his career. 4 for 8. But Glavine's gotten them both times tonight. Ahead here 0-1.
He's pitched him almost exclusively away in the first 2 at-bats, and he has gotten him out each time with a pitch inside.
Caught looking in the first inning with a fastball inside. Got him to hit that same pitch in the air to center the next time. Another chance for Jeff Blauser. He's in it. Good. Whoop, that time the throw gets by Fred McGriff. And down to second goes Ellis Burks. The throw down there gets by Blauser. Backed up by Klesko. Just when we were about to say that Jeff Blauser has had a good defensive night at shortstop, he throws one away.
Well,
and that woke up his crowd, Larry.
That was an extremely difficult chance. The pickup was remarkable. And a fast runner going down the line forced him to throw this ball in a hurry. He had time and would have had it. But it will go as an error.
That gives the Rockies a runner at second with 1 man out. And Dante Bichette will be the hitter. This is only the 2nd time tonight that the Rockies have had a runner down at second base. The other time came on that bloop double by Bichette back in the first inning. So Javi Lopez out to the mound to make sure he and Glavine are together on the signs with that runner down at second. Bichette has doubled and grounded out to short.
Bobby Cox has a very even hand, sort of a low-key manager, and Don Baylor is much the same way. But the Rockies, with not much playoff experience, showed some jitters last night. They made 4 errors. The Braves made 1. Now in this game, each team has made 1.
Bichette so far in this series 3 for 6, but the National League leader in home runs has yet to homer and has yet to drive in a run. He has an opportunity here with a runner at second. 1 man out.
And inside.
And missed him there. 1 ball, 1 strike. In this ballpark this year, counting regular season starts, has now pitched 21 1/3 innings and given up only 2 earned runs. Here's the 1-1. That misses outside. The count 2-1.
How tall would you say Dante Bichette is?
5'11", 6 feet.
They list him at 6'3". He's a lot taller than he looks because he is so thick. He is really strong.
Here comes the 2-1. That's fouled away, 2-2. He is also a very aggressive hitter, as we had pointed out a couple of times. Doesn't walk very much.
22 times during the regular season. He blew a very important walk.
Yes, he did.
In last night's game.
Two strikes on Bichette. A runner at second, 1 man out. Rockies trying to get something going here against Tom Glavine, who has shut them out to this point. Here comes the 2-2 pitch on the way. Just missed. And the count full on Bichette now, 3-2.
That was really close. That's one of the few pitches Glavine has made that's been in the area of a strike that has not been called a strike.
Jack's gun records it at 91 miles an hour. We told you earlier, Glavine about 4 miles an hour more in his fastball now than he had 5 years ago. Here comes the 3-2 on the way to Bichette. Looping fly ball, shallow center field. Here comes Grissom. Can't get it. Base hit. Now a chance for a play at third. The throw there will not get Ellis Burks. Runners at first and third with 1 man out. Larry Walker will be the batter, but before he steps in, we've got some more news from the Storm.
Pete, we finally got a score in Cleveland. Bottom of the 5th and 2 on for Indians shortstop Omar Vizquel. The double to bring across 2 runners, including the speedy Kenny Lofton, who scores all the way from first. It's the first ever postseason hit for Omar Vizquel, and it's a huge one. Cleveland takes a 2-0 lead. Pete and Larry.
Okay, thank you, Hannah. The Indians trying to go up 2 in that series. First and third, 1 out here. Rockies fans have come to life. Here's Larry Walker, who has grounded out twice, once to the pitcher, once to first. And he swings and drives one deep to right center field and way out of here. This game is tied as Larry Walker connects for a 3-run homer. Told you a 3-run lead is nothing in this ballpark, and this is why.
This is one of those home runs that would have been out of any ballpark.
Tie game 3-3. Andres Galarraga has struck out and grounded out to short. And he takes the first one outside, ball 1. 442 feet, the estimated distance of that Larry Walker home run. The 1-0, fouled off the end of the bat. 1 ball, 1 strike.
So the error does indeed come into play here. It allows the Rockies to score that extra run that ties the game. The error that was made earlier by the Rockies did not allow the Braves a run.
Now the 1-1. Galarraga lines one right center field. Marquise Grissom there for the catch for out number 2. And the parade of home run power continues as Vinny Castilla steps in. He has been held off base tonight, 0 for 2, thrown out catcher to first, thrown out third to first. But Larry Walker is determined to get his Rockies into the National League Championship Series because he knows that his Montreal Expos would have gotten there last year. At least he believes they would have. They were 6 games up in Atlanta when play came to a halt. And he had a very disappointing October a year ago. strikes. You know, all 4 of those players who were let go by Montreal because of the salaries are in postseason play. Larry Walker here, Marquise Grissom out in center field for Atlanta, John Wetland pitching for the Yankees, and Ken Hill on the Indians pitching staff.
Hill took sort of a roundabout route to the playoffs through St. Louis.
2-0 the count now on Castilla with 2 outs, 3 runs in, and the Larry Walker home run. And it's 3-0. Back to the edge of the track. He's got it. And that's it for the Colorado Rockies in the bottom half of the 6th inning. But Larry Walker ties it up with 1 swing of the bat. And we'll return to the 1995 Division Series, the Braves and the Rockies, after this from your local station. We are tied 3-3 going to the top half of the 7th inning. And here's tonight's MCI proof positive replay. Listen to the crack of the bat off Larry Walker. Boy, did he get all of that one, 442 feet. And one of the Blake Street Bombers has struck. We've got a brand new ball game. Mark Lemke leads off the 7th for Atlanta. He has walked, singled, and grounded to 3rd. Steve Reed out there for his 2nd inning, and the first pitch is fouled back 0-1. Despite the enthusiasm of the fans here in Colorado, Larry, the game that Tom Glavine was pitching had kind of lulled the crowd into a silence, but Larry Walker's swing
he brought him right back into the game.
Kind of warmed up this ballpark about 8 degrees. 1 ball, 1 strike on Lemke.
Just the Braves are not the type of team that is going to be intimidated by 1 long home run.
Into right center field, late jump by Ellis Burks, but he gets there. Lemke retired, 1 down. And that'll bring up Chipper Jones. And with this situation developing again, where Chipper Jones, who has more power from the left side of the plate than the right side, followed by all those left-hand hitters. Don Baylor on his way to the mound. Bruce Ruffin will enter the game to face Chipper Jones with 1 out and the base is empty, and a tie game here in the top of the 7th.
Back to Coors Field in a moment. We got another tie ball game now at Yankee Stadium. Bottom of the 5th, Mariners up 1-0. 2 outs for Bernie Williams. He had 3 hits last night. Comes through tonight with an RBI double off Andy Bennis. Wade Boggs comes in to score to tie the game up at 1. It's the 3rd RBI of the series for Bernie Williams. Another tie ball game for you, Pete and Larry.
Thank you, Hannah. We've got one here, too.
We got 3 tie games and the other one 2-0.
That's the way it should be. Bruce Ruffin, the new pitcher, worked 2/3 of an inning in last night's game. Got a double play ball. Actually only faced 1 hitter. And Chipper Jones, the batter, with 1 out. A count of 1 ball, 1 strike. Chipper tonight has hit into a force play, singled, and grounded out. 1 for 3. 3 runs, 6 hits for the Braves. 3 runs, 4 hits for the Rockies.
Ruffin really had good stuff in last night's game, but he only pitched 1/3 of an inning. Now he comes into a game where he would be the 3rd hitter up for the Rockies in the 7th.
Second hit in 4 trips tonight. And you can see what's going on tonight in these Division Series games. Everything about as tight as it can get. Those 2 games tied. The Indians up only 2-0 in the 7th. We've got a 3-3 tie ball game here.
And believe me, a 2-0 lead at Cleveland over Boston is not a comfortable lead.
Do you think Chipper Jones is having a good time in these division playoffs? Did you see the look on his face after that base hit? He loves this stuff. Here's Fred McGriff. Fred has had a rough night. He's 0 for 3. He's popped to short and struck out twice. All 3 of those at bats coming against Lance Painter. Now he faces another lefty, Bruce Ruffin.
Roy Campanella once said, you've got to be a man to play Major League Baseball, but you've got to have a lot of little boy in you, too. And in Chipper Jones, the performance speaks to the man, the facial expression to the little boy.
Here comes the 0-1 to McGriff. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's chilly out when you're blowing on your hands, even when you're wearing gloves. Back during the break when Ruffin came in to warm up, Larry Walker out in right field went back to the bullpen bench. They got a heater back there.
Chipper Jones is from Jacksonville, Florida. You don't get a lot of this weather there.
Now, Larry Walker should be used to that. He's Canadian. Here's the 1-1. Low again to McGriff, 2-1 to Garrett. We're in the top of the 7th. 3 runs, 7 hits for Atlanta. 3 runs, 4 hits for the Rockies. Each team has made 1 error. There's one of the dugout heaters. Tell you what, these dugouts here at Coors Field, you could just about live in them there. Just like trailers. There's the 2-1. And that just missed.
That looked like a pretty good pitch.
Now Ruffin wanted that call. 3-1 the count. 92 miles an hour on the Jugs gun.
If you feel that when you face a hitter of the quality of McGriff, you need to get every strike that you can throw.
Because now he's got to come in with something behind 3-1. And he missed low, ball 4.
There's such a great difference in a 2-2 count and a 3-1 count. A 3-1 count, the hitter's just looking for the pitch he wants to hit. He's going to take anything else. 2-2 count, he feels like he's got to swing at anything close.
That's the most often used bullpen phone in baseball. That of the Colorado Rockies. They went to the bullpen more times this year than any team in the National League, and they're carrying a 12-man pitching staff in this division series. And we're going to get some more activity out there as David Justice steps in. 0 for 2 with a walk. In the shallow right field. They're going to hold the runner at third as Larry Walker with a strong throwing arm.
Chipper Jones wanted to score.
He wanted to. But a guy with 13 assists out there in right field named Larry Walker is going to make any third base coach cautious.
I don't think Jimmy Williams ever had any doubt as to what he was going to do in that situation, because Jones had to hold momentarily to make sure the ball was going to get over Eric Young.
So now the base is loaded with 1 man out. And Javi Lopez, the batter. Seattle's gone up on New York now 2-1. Lopez a single and 2 trips, also a sacrifice fly. Infield wants a double play. Down low, ball 1.
It would appear going in that the American League Division Series are more evenly matched than the National League Series. But with the quality of the Rockies and the Dodgers, that may not turn out to be true.
Larry Bernard's going to buy some time for his bullpen.
Kurt Leskanik. And he's been on that roller coaster ride these last few days. Given up some winning hits, and he's also picked up some saves.
It's really interesting the way that Don Baylor has used his bullpen this year. He's used all different pitchers as his closer. He had Bruce Ruffin out there early in the year. Then Ruffin came up with an arm injury. Darren Holmes took over. Last part of the year, Kurt Leskanik had that role. 7 different pitchers out of that bullpen for the Rockies this year have at least 1 save. Bases loaded, 1 out. And the count even on Lopez now, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Whitey Herzog started that concept, bullpen by committee. Most managers prefer to have a designated closer. Makes things a lot easier. But if you don't have a Lee Smith or a pitcher of that type, sometimes you can get more effective performance by using a combination.
Yeah, even if you look at the Atlanta Braves, with all the success they've had in the 90s, 91, 92, 93, look at all the different people they've had out there. Alejandro Pena was the closer for a while. Mike Stanton was the closer for a while. Greg Michael was the closer for a while. They got Jeff Reardon.
Those guys that go out there and save 30 games or more year after year are rare.
Hard to find. pitch. Struck him out. Bruce Ruffin reaching back for a little extra on that 1-2 fastball. Gets a huge strikeout of Javi Lopez. And now there are 2 outs with the bases loaded. And Ryan Klesko, the scheduled hitter, he's going to be pinch hit for by Mike Devereaux.
Well, there's nothing fancy about that pitch. He just reared back and fired. And Lopez was late.
The Jugs gun recorded that one at 92 miles an hour. And now Mike Devereaux, the right-handed bat, up to pinch hit for Ryan Klesko. Devereaux 0 for 1 in the game last night. .255 for Atlanta this season after coming over from the Chicago White Sox.
And of course, he is an outfielder, so he can stay in the game and play left field. You don't have to use 2 players in this move. And Devereaux is a superior outfielder to Klesko.
Bases loaded, 2 men out in a 3-3 game. The pitch to Devereaux is taken for a strike, 0-1. Been an interesting performance by Ruffin. He gave up the base hit to Chipper Jones, then lost 2 left-hand hitters.
He almost looked like he wasn't quite warmed up when he came in, because his pitches have a lot more snap now than they did when he first came in.
Walked Fred McGriff, gave up the base hit to Justice, but then he struck out Lopez. Fly ball along the line and right, long run for Larry Walker. It's going to make it up into the seats fine. And the count 0-2. Losing the 2 left-hand hitters, he strikes out Lopez, a right-handed bat, and now he's ahead 0-2 on Devereaux. And here go the Rocky fans again, back on their feet. Here come the 0-2 pitch. Old bouncing ball slowly toward third. Castilla throwing across to first, and Ruffin is out of it. Great job of pitching by Bruce Ruffin. Braves leave them loaded, still tied 3-3.
Back to Coors Field in a moment. First, a wild one at Yankee Stadium. Tied at 1, top of the 6th. 2 outs for Tino Martinez. The opposite field single of Andy Pettit. He scores Edgar Martinez from third, and the Mariners take a 2-1 lead. It would be short-lived. Bottom of the inning, Ruben Sierra, big 2-run shot last night, and tonight a solo shot off Andy Benes. It's his 2nd home run of the series to tie this game up at 2. And then the next batter, Don Mattingly, playing in his first ever postseason. This is his 4th hit of the series. He has a solo home run, so the Yankees have taken a 3-2 lead. The Yankee fans have responded by throwing things onto the field, so Lou Piniella has removed his team temporarily from the field in the 6th. Pete?
Okay, thank you, Hannah. What a strange development in that game. There's Joe Girardi being thrown out at first by Jeff Blauser. 1 out here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Mike Devereaux.
Might be something what happened when the other team hit a home run.
Yeah, surprising. Mike Devereaux in left field after pinch hitting for Klesko. And Walt Weiss, the batter, was struck out and walked. We are still tied here, 3-3. Braves had a 3-0 lead. 2 of those runs coming on Marquise Grissom solo homers, but Larry Walker tied up things with 1 swing of the bat. In the 6th inning, a 3-run shot. 1 ball, no strikes on Weiss. Jason Bates has moved on deck. He will pinch hit for Ruffin. Here's the 1-0. 2-0. On the way, and there's a strike in the count 2-1 on Walt Weiss.
Glavine doesn't concede much. Weiss walked 98 times during the year, doesn't have much power. 2-0. A lot of pitchers would probably challenge him down the middle. Glavine still shot the corner.
Now the 2-1 delivery, and it's fouled back. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Walt Weiss. Ball out to short. It was at a line drive. Line drive. Thought it hit the plate, but it didn't. It was a liner to Blauser, and there are 2 outs. And that'll bring up Jason Bates to pitch in. There you see the updates on the other games. The Yankees now on top. The Indians try to go up on the Red Sox.
2 ties, a 1-run game, and a 2-run game.
Here is Jason Bates.
And in general, on this night in baseball division series history, it's been a pitching story.
It really has been. You got the shutout working in Cleveland. You got a 3-2 game at Yankee Stadium, a 2-2 game at Dodger Stadium, and a 3-3 game here. And this is the most illogical place for a pitcher's night. 1 ball, 1 strike, and Jason Bates.
In general, it's been a hitter's year. You might have expected with the teams like Seattle and Cleveland, and of course any team here, Braves and Rockies, some high scoring. Not so.
2-1 now.
Of course, it's not over yet either.
That's true. A lot of things can happen here quickly. Here comes the 2-1 pitch now to Jason Bates. And it misses outside. The count 3-1. One in the game. He walked twice back in the 5th inning. Here's the 3-1 pitch, and there's a liner over shortstop Jeff Blauser in the left field for a base hit.
Bates has been a very pleasant surprise. I think he's here in the big leagues maybe a year or maybe 2 years sooner than the Rockies thought he might be, and he has been a contributor. An infielder, a switch hitter, and he's got some clout.
And that base hit gets the Atlanta bullpen up. Brad Klontz has begun to throw. Eric Young, the batter, he is 1 for 3, a single back in the 3rd.
The big advantage for the Braves going into this game was in the starting pitchers. Lance Pater, rather inexperienced pitcher, going against Tom Glavine, a Cy Young Award winner. That advantage has been canceled by the Walker home run. This is an even game right now, not just in score, but in the way it figures to play out.
Canceled by the Walker home run and canceled by 5 good innings from Lance Pater.
Right.
Who kept the Rockies in this game.
But there's no way to say how it will play out, but you would think that the Rockies are the Braves equal in terms of hitting, and the bullpens are roughly equal, so it's anyone's game right now.
There's the 1-0, little chopper out toward short. On the short hop, Blauser has it, goes to second in time for the force, and that's all for the Rockies in the 7th. We stay tied here at Coors Field, heading toward the top of the 8th. We go to the top half of the 8th inning. You look at Chipper Jones in the Atlanta dugout. Will he be the National League Rookie of the Year? The main competition expected to come from Dodger pitcher Hideo Nomo. You see the numbers on both of them. And before the game tonight, we had a chance to ask Chipper Jones just how important was it to him to win the Rookie of the Year award.
Well, it'll be a tremendous honor. It's something that I've set my sights on ever since I was drafted in 1990. I got to see David Justice and the kind of numbers he put up win the award, and I just told myself that when and if I ever got the chance, I was going to go all out to try and win it.
It's going to be an interesting ballot.
It sure is, and the numbers would tell you that it's a pretty even race.
Meanwhile, we have a new pitcher, Curtis Leskanik, who was the losing pitcher last night. We have a pinch hitter for Atlanta, Luis Polonia, batting for Jeff Blauser with Dwight Smith on deck. He will bat for Tom Glavine. And the 1-1 to Polonia, Rich Violet almost picked off first base coach Pat Corrales. Count goes to 2-1. You see how many games he appeared in. These Rocky bullpen pitchers can't complain for lack of work.
They might complain about the opposite, but they don't.
Here's the 1-2 now to Polonia, fouled away. It remains a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, you think about the Rookie of the Year, and it's not like the most valuable player and the Cy Young, because the Cy Young is a very prestigious award on its own merit.
That's fouled away. Still a ball and 2 strikes on Polonia.
There is a Rookie Pitcher of the Year award, but it's not like winning the Cy Young.
No.
So you almost have to consider pitchers a little more for the Rookie of the Year than you might for the most valuable player.
Here's the 1-2 again to Polonia, and he takes it on the outside corner. strike 3 call. Les Cunick backdoored him there. And Polonia not too happy with the call, but he's out of there on strikes, and Dwight Smith will now pinch hit for Tom Glavine. Sunday, NBC Sports presents another exciting NFL doubleheader starting at 12:30 Eastern with the NFL on NBC. Future Hall of Fame quarterback Joe Montana and Super Bowl champion coach Mike Ditka join hosts Greg Gumbel and Ahmad Rashad as they preview Week 6 action. Headlining the NBC schedule, it's the Colts against the NFL's only undefeated team, the Miami Dolphins. Also, the Browns battle Detroit, where Seattle faces Oakland, or other regional action. Check your local listings for the games in your area. Dwight Smith had a run-scoring single that briefly gave the Braves the lead in last night's game. Pinch hitting for Glavine here. With 1 out and the bases empty in the top of the 8th, still tied 3-3. Strike 2-1. Les Cunick, the 4th pitcher to work for the Rockies. And it goes to 3-1 now. Dwight Smith. I like a lot of pinch hitters, and we talked about this last night, Larry. I like a lot of pinch hitters who like to go up there and swing at the first pitch in the strike zone. Dwight Smith, the guy that likes to work the count deep. He's done it again here, 3-1. Laces this one left center field. Long run for Ellis Burks. Diving try out there. He can't come up with it. Dwight Smith on his way to second. Here's the throw. He slides in safely. And Dwight Smith delivers his second pinch hit of this series. And let's see if Ellis Burks is all right. He's not gotten up yet out in left center field.
Burks is hurt. It looked, upon watching the play, that Dwight Smith might be the guy hurt. He slid late and hard into second base.
Don Baylor and Dave Chilati, the trainer for the Rockies, head out there to see what's wrong with Ellis Burks.
Well, let's take another look. A slicing ball into shallow left center. Burks got the extension.
Oh, that ball might have hit him in the face.
He got a glove on it.
Did that ball hit him?
Either that or he ducked it and hit his face down into the turf.
Almost like a whiplash effect. And they continue to examine Ellis Burks. It appears he'll be okay. Just a little shaken up. Now the smile from the trainer, always a good sign. As is a smile from your teammate. Reds and Dodgers still tied 2-2. They're in the top of the 8th. Yankees holding on to their lead. Don Mattingly having a good night. And the Indians still 2-0 over the Red Sox. Hershiser has given way to Taveras in that game. Here in the top of the 8th in our game, tied 3-3. A runner at second. Marquise Grissom will be the batter. And what a night he has had, Larry. First inning, first pitch. Off of Lance Painter.
Fastball away, and Grissom gives it a ride, 1-0.
4th inning, a 1-0 pitch from Lance Painter.
And a good pitch, but Grissom gives that a ride, 3-0.
But Larry Walker's 3-run homer in the bottom half of the 6th inning have tied things up, and we're now in the top of the 8th. Grissom the hitter with a runner at second, 1 out. Ball, no strikes.
Good stop there by Girardi. He's a very mobile catcher.
One of the long line of catchers in the major leagues out of the Cubs organization.
Another interesting thing about this night in baseball, almost all of the games are proceeding at the same pace. One on the 7th, bottom of the 7th or the 8th.
Les Cunick delivers the 1-0 and caught the inside corner. And it's even now, 1 ball, 1 strike on Marquise Grissom.
The question is, will he face Maddox again? Will he continue to be a teammate?
1-2. What's
the word of the Braves camp about Grissom?
A A lot depends on whether or not he will be given a full year's credit of service. He can't become.
So they don't know if he's a free agent or not.
Yeah, he can't become a free agent unless they call the 144-game season a full year. If that's the case, then he's eligible to be a free agent. If not, he is shy. Ellis Burke's a little woozy out there in center field, and Dave Chillardi, the Rockies trainer, heading out that way again.
We better get him out of the game.
You remember he dove for that ball off the bat of Dwight Smith and appeared to have a whiplash type injury. He appeared to be okay, but now he looks very, very woozy out there. Here's another look.
Watch how his face hits the ground.
Yeah, he took a pretty good shot there.
And you're looking at slow motion. Full speed, there's a little more impact. That's full speed.
He's going to come out of the
taking a
game.
punch right in the nose.
And Mike Kingery will check in and take over in center field.
Kingery is a very good outfielder. They now have a left-handed batter with a little less power, but they don't lose anything on defense.
And this has changed the Braves situation now with Mike Kingery, a left-hand batter, due to lead off in the bottom half of the 8th inning, followed by Bichette, and then another left-hand batter, Larry Walker. Steve Avery, a starting pitcher all season long for Atlanta, is now up in the Atlanta bullpen. The Saturday action is on NBC with the new hit Jag starting at 8/7 Central. This week, the Jag investigators probe the death of 3 Marines and find a shocking cover-up. Jag, from the creator of Magnum PI and Quantum Leap. Catch all the excitement NBC Saturday at 8/7 Central. 2 pitch to Grissom now is high, 2-2.
And you wonder if the long wait will affect Les Canning.
1 man out, a runner second. Here comes the 2-2. Got him with a fastball. Second strike out of the inning for Curtis Leskanik. And that'll bring up Mark Lemke.
And high fastball, probably not a strike, but a hard pitch to lay off.
2 gone. Lemke, the batter, is walked, single, grounded out to third, fly to center. And he takes outside, ball 1. Show you how far the Rockies have come, Larry, with their ball club in just 3 brief years. Back in their very first year of existence, they have just called up Curtis Leskanik from the minor leagues. His pitch to Lemke. Cut on, missed, 1 ball, 1 strike. And in one of his very first starting assignments, he had to go up against Greg Maddux. The Rockies had never beaten the Braves. They had played something like 8 or 9 games in a row against Atlanta, lost them all. And Don Baylor, before that game, said, Leskanik against Maddux, it's not a good matchup for us at this stage of our career. Now, here's Curtis Leskanik pitching against those very same Atlanta Braves in postseason play and getting him through the top half of the 8th inning, still tied 3-3. We are tied 3-3 going to the bottom half of the 8th inning. And the new pitcher for Atlanta after Tom Glavine has been pinch hit for is Steve Avery. He's only made 1 relief appearance in his major league career. That was his very first year in Atlanta in 1990. And Bobby Cox deciding to go with a 3-man starting rotation in this best-of-5 series. Avery moves to the bullpen after a subpar year for him. But his last 3 outings during the regular season, quite good. Kingery sends one to left center. Devereaux there for the catch. 1 down. They also have a new shortstop, Rafael Belliard. Bichette.
First pitch from Avery on the jugs gun, 91 miles an hour. That's pretty good velocity for him.
He had a stretch from about the middle of July to the end of August where he just could not get anything going. Went 7 starts in a row without a win. But his last 3 performances, very good ones, and Bobby Cox and Leo Mazzoni hoping that will continue in postseason. One thing they did say before the series began, Larry, and you can understand this, being a starting pitcher yourself most of your career, they did not want to bring Steve Avery in the middle of an inning with runners on base. They wanted to have him start an inning if he was going to pitch out of the bullpen.
But he would feel rather strange coming into a game pitching out of the stretch.
Down the left field line, Devereaux on the run, makes the diving catch, drops the ball. It hits toward the corner. Dante Bichette heads for second. Devereaux had it and lost it. And Bichette winds up at second base with 1 man out.
Tremendous effort. He hit the ground hard and the ball was jarred loose.
So the Colorado Rockies have put a potential go-ahead run in scoring position with 1 out. And Larry Walker, the hitter.
In this game, the ground can cause a fumble.
It was Larry Walker's 3-run homer that tied this game in the 6th inning. And he takes a strike in the inside corner.
Braves have been trying to work Walker inside. Glavine got the ball out over the plate to him on the home run pitch.
Here's the 0-1. High inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. A right-hander, Alejandro Pena, up in the Atlanta bullpen with Andres Galarraga due up next. 1 man out. Here's the 1-1. On foul, back into the crowd. It's 1-2. Here's the swing of the bat by Larry Walker that tied this game up in the 6th. 442 feet. Now the 1-2. Inside again, 2-2. Keeping everything in on him, Larry.
Trying to keep him from getting extension. Talking to Wayne Hagan, the Rockies broadcaster, he said this is the windiest night they've had all year. And the wind has held up some fly balls, but it didn't hold up Walker's.
That one's out of play. It remains 2-2. If the Braves make it to the National League Championship Series, Bobby Cox and Leo Mazzoni say they may go back to the 4-man rotation. Avery would go back to his usual role as a starter, but tonight he's on in relief in a tie ball game. Here's the 2-2.
Beautiful pitch.
Got him with a breaking ball away after going inside.
By going inside so many times, you make the hitter think that he has to be quick. And when you're quick on this pitch, you're dead.
And you know, you talk about breaking balls and how they don't get quite as much break.
That one did.
Mile high air, that one got plenty of break. Larry Walker out of there on strikes. Bobby Cox on his way to the mound. Andres Galarraga due up next.
And the word on Ellis Burks is that he has a mild concussion.
And now let's see what decision Bobby Cox is going to make. It does not appear that he went out there with his mind made up. Now he has signaled to the bullpen, and Steve Avery will come out of the game, being replaced by Alejandro Pena, who will come on to face Andres Galarraga with a runner at second. 2 men out. And game 2 of this best-of-5 series tied at 3 in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Avery gets the glad hand from the Braves dugout. Alejandro Pena makes his way in from the bullpen.
Back to Coors Field in just a moment. A seesaw game at Yankee Stadium. Meanwhile, top of the 7th, Yanks up 3-2 for Luis Sojo with 2 on. Singles up the middle against Andy Pettitte to bring across the tying run. It's tied at 3. Next batter, Ken Griffey Jr. facing Pettitte. And he lifts the fly ball to left field. Vince Coleman tags. Coleman trying to score from third. And Coleman is safe with a go-ahead run. Soho's out at second. They get out of the inning, but the Yankees have come back in the bottom of the inning to tie it with a home run. We are now all knotted up again at Yankee Stadium at 4 apiece.
We have got some great ball games going on tonight in these game twos in both the American and the National League. Alejandro Pena, he's the guy that got Jason Bates with the bases loaded and a fly ball to end the 8th inning last night. Now he faces Andres Galarraga with 2 outs, a runner at second in the 8th inning. And blows the fastball by 0-1.
That's basically the same thing that Mark Wohlers did last night. He tried to climb the ladder on Galarraga, get him to chase that high fastball. That one was 95 miles an hour on the Jugs gun.
Galarraga tonight a strikeout, a ground out, and a fly out. Upstairs, 1 ball, 1 strike. Bichette down at second. Here comes the 1-1. Another good fastball, and the count 1-2.
Braves actually played Galarraga around toward right field of the outfield. And when a guy's throwing 95 and riding fastballs, that's probably a pretty good idea.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Pena with the 1-2 pitch on the way. Fly ball hit out to right field. David Justice going back. Can't get it over his head. Around third, Bichette. He scores. Down at second with a run-scoring double is Andres Galarraga. And the Colorado Rockies have taken a 4-3 lead.
Pena, after throwing 2 fastballs right by Galarraga, decided to try to trick him with a slider. And the big cat was waiting for it.
That is his first RBI of the series. It gives Colorado a 1-run lead.
Played him around toward right, but not quite deep enough.
And now Vinny Castilla, the Rockies trying to even up this series.
And that run is charged to Avery.
Castilla tonight has grounded out twice and flied out. In the game last night when Pena came in, the first batter he faced was Ellis Burks. He gave up a run-scoring double. And after loading the bases, was able to get out of the inning with no further damage. But that double by Ellis Burks merely tied the game. This one has given the Rockies the lead.
Bichette with 2 doubles and a single and 2 runs scored in this game.
Here's the 0-1. 0-2 the count of Castilla. Looking ahead to the top half of the 9th inning, due up for Atlanta. Hey, look at this. Chipper Jones, Brett McGriff, David Justice.
It always works out that way, doesn't it?
It seems to. Nothing in 2, the count on Castilla. Seats by a couple of rows. Count remains nothing in 2 on Castilla. That's a hard place to catch a foul ball in the front row right behind the screen. Don't get many of them there. Munoz, the left-hander, Holmes, the right-hander, and the Rockies bullpen. Second, Galarraga. Another 0-2 pitch. On the way to Castilla. And the net ball hit him. I believe it did. It grazed him.
Lopez caught the ball.
He will go down to first, hit by the pitch.
No argument for the Braves dugout. Of course, they wouldn't be in a very good position to see that anyway.
And a run of the belt buckle. Runners now first and second with 2 outs. The batter will be Joe Girardi, who was fouled out to first, grounded out to second, grounded out to short. See Girardi's numbers against Pena. He is 1 for 6 in this series against Nevada pitcher. Here's the 0-1, and that missed down low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
The difference in this ball game right now, a ball that was caught and then dropped for a double.
Off the bat of Dante Bichette. In fact, if you look at both of the doubles by Dante Bichette tonight, the first one occurred when Ryan Klesko and Jeff Blauser collided in the outfield. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
One thing is clear from the first 2 games of this series, that anyone that thought the Braves were just going to come in and just trounce the Rockies.
Not against this club. Too much offense, too many weapons. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Bouncing ball right side. Lemke fields a funny hop, throws on to first in time. That is out number 3, but a run-scoring double by the Big Cat has given the Rockies a 4-3 lead as we go to the top half of the 9th inning here at Coors Field.
Back to Coors Field in a moment. First at Yankee Stadium, bottom of the 7th. Seattle up 4-3. Norm Charlton facing Paul O'Neill. Here's Gary Thorne.
Last night. 2-1. Oh, yeah, tie game. Paul O'Neill. Goodbye into the night of New York.
The solo shot by Paul O'Neill off Norm Charlton has tied this game up again at Yankee Stadium. It is a 4-4 ball game between the Mariners and the Yanks in the 8th inning. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, the Reds and Dodgers tied up at 2 in the top of the 8th. Antonio Osuna on for the Dodgers. Barry Larkin with the single. He singles in the go-ahead run as Cincinnati takes a 3-2 lead. They look to take a 2-0 lead in the series on the road. Back to Coors Field.
Okay, thank you, Hannah. Chipper Jones leading off against Curtis Leskanik. The line drive to left field. Dante Bichette on the run. Can't get it. It's going to drop in for at least 1. Chipper Jones on his way to second. He's in sliding with a leadoff double. He homered off Leskanik last night in the 9th inning in what turned out to be the winning run. And now a leadoff double to put the potential tying run down at second base with nobody out here in the top half of the 9th inning.
There's the pitch. Fastball. Slices it off down the left side.
He is having some series. That's his 3rd hit tonight. He's now 5 for 10 in this series. Leskanik will be lifted here after working 1 inning and facing 1 batter here in the 9th. And Mike Munoz, the lefty, will get the call to face Fred McGriff. Nobody out. Potential tying run at second base in the top half of the 9th inning with the Rockies up by 1. The Colorado Rockies trying to even up this best-of-5 series at 1 win each, leading at 4-3. Nobody out. Runner at second in the top of the 9th. This 1995 Division Series game is brought to you by Oldsmobile and your local Oldsmobile retailers. Burger King, where you can get your burger's worth. And the makers of Advil. The new pitcher for the Rockies, the 5th pitcher to work tonight for them, left-hander Mike Munoz. And he is coming on with 2 left-handed batters due up, Fred McGriff, followed by David Justice. The numbers on Munoz not that impressive during the regular season. He had a bad stretch in the middle of the year, didn't get much work late in the year.
The problem with the base on balls, as you can see. But in this situation, what the Rockies are hoping Munoz can do is prevent McGriff from moving Jones to 3rd. I don't think that the Braves are necessarily going to try to play for one run. But certainly they need one run to keep this game going.
McGriff tonight is 0 for 3. He's popped to short, struck out twice, and walked. Nobody out. Chipper Jones down at second. That'll be out of play. The count 0-1. 4-3 Rockies in just their third year of existence. The Rockies making it to postseason. And now 50,000 fans here at Coors Field hoping to see a little history. The earliest postseason game ever won by an expansion team. Nobody's ever made it this quickly. Now the Rockies have a chance to win one and tie this series up. 1 ball, 1 strike.
They've got a tough way to go to hold a 1-run lead with McGriff, Justice, and then Lopez.
Here's the 1-1 on the way. Little looping line drive, shallow left field. It's going to drop for a base hit. Chipper Jones gets the green light. Dante Bichette overruns the ball in left. We are tied again as Fred McGriff drives in his first run of this series with a looping single to left. Still nobody out here in the top of the ninth. It's 4-4.
That is not exactly the kind of hit that Fred McGriff has become known for.
No, not really.
And he did not pull the ball, which he was probably trying to do to move the runner. But he did succeed.
And that silenced the crowd here at Coors Field.
It was a rather unusual move by Bichette. He certainly faked the ball out.
He thought that ball was going to take a nice hop to him, but it didn't. It skidded. Well, there's David Justice. Nobody out, runner at first. Line drive, center field. Coming on is Kingery. Makes a sliding catch out there. Back to first goes Fred McGriff.
How about that for an evening up process? A lucky blue pit to left, and then a bullet for an out.
And now the right-hand bats due up. Javi Lopez, followed by Mike Devereaux. His way to the mound. He's got Darren Holmes ready in the Rockies bullpen. And Holmes will get the call here. And David thought he had himself at least a base hit, maybe more than one.
The first step is critical on a line drive like that, and Kingery got that first step going in the right direction.
So yet another pitching change for the Rockies. Munoz will leave after working a third of an inning, giving up the 1 hit. And Darren Holmes comes on from the Colorado bullpen. He's making his second appearance of the series. Worked a third of an inning last night, gave up 2 hits. Well, Larry, one of the great features of this Atlanta Braves team this year has been their ability to win games late. They won 25 games during the regular season in their final at bat. And of course, they won the first game of this best-of-5 series last night in their final at bat. Sunday at 8, 7 Central, it's Sunday's must-see TV comedy hit Mad About You, followed by an all-new Hope and Gloria must-see comedy now on Sunday, starting with Mad About You at 8, 7 Central on NBC.
For any of us who have worked throughout the year day by day and watched the big league scoreboards, the Braves' success in the late innings has almost become a joke. You'd look up and they'd be down by a run or two, and you'd say they've got them right where they want them.
And you felt the same way about watching the American League scores when the Cleveland Indians were involved.
Exactly the same way.
You see the numbers on Darren Holmes for the year. He'll be facing Javi Lopez with the runner at first, 1 out, in a tie ball game, 4-4 here in the top of the ninth. Reds holding on, trying to go 2 up in that series. They're still tied in New York, bottom half of the 8th inning. Indians have taken a 2-0 lead over the Red Sox, whose fans must be wondering if the curse of the Bambino will ever end. We are here at beautiful Coors Field on a chilly night. But what a great battle these first 2 games of this series have been. And like you were saying earlier, Larry, you would think that, I think a lot of the fans may have thought on both the Rockies side and the Braves side that the Braves were just going to waltz in here and take away 2 games very quickly.
I don't think those guys in that dugout felt that way. And I'm not sure Bobby Cox really felt that way either.
The Atlanta Braves just got another piece of News that I'm sure they weren't too thrilled to hear either. The tropical storm Opal is hitting Atlanta tonight. The airport is closed. The Braves have checked out of their hotel. We're planning to fly back to Atlanta after the game tonight. They won't. They will have to check back into a hotel and stay here.
Yeah, might as well play extra innings then.
Might as well.
The Rockies have used 6 pitchers in this game now, and the Braves 3. So extra innings, a war of attrition, at least in terms of pitching, it would seem to favor the Braves at this point.
What counters that is the Rockies are carrying 12 pitchers on their staff, for the Braves 10, so they've got a few extra arms out there. Javi Lopez tonight 1 for 3, drove in a run with a sac fly back in the 3rd. Takes the first pitch from Holmes, outside, ball 1. 4 runs, 11 hits for Atlanta, 4 runs, 7 hits for the Rockies. 9th inning.
Now, they've got a few, but among those they have listed, there are only Thompson and Ricard.
The 1-0. That's fouled back. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Now watch Darren Holmes' posture in that stretch position. He is in an extremely closed stance, which would seem to favor running against him. It's going to take him a while to turn back around and throw to first. He also likes to use a high leg kick. Of course, McGriff doesn't run much.
Fouled away again by Lopez. Up into the crowd. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And that time he did not use the high kick. A lot of pitchers these days will vary that. They like to use the full delivery, but they'll give you the slide step just enough to make you think you shouldn't go.
They've got it right. 1-2, got him. Lopez down, swinging. That's out number 2 in the top half of the 9th inning. And now Mike Devereaux.
Down and away pitch.
Devereaux's only at bat came back in the 7th inning. He grounded out to 3rd. The runner at first with 2 outs.
Down and away again. Satchel Paige said near the end of his career, nobody likes that low and away pitch. I've been pitching there for 50 years. They can't hurt you that way. You keep it in the ballpark.
Lying when he said he was doing it for 50 years.
He came through Atlanta near the end.
Yes, he did. I saw Satchel Paige pitch in the International League back in about the 50s. I couldn't tell you exactly what year, with the old Miami Marlins down there. He was about 52 or so then. Here's the 1-0. Up the middle by Devereaux. Base hit center field. McGriff down to second. He'll hold on there as Kingery gets it back to the infield. Now at first and second with 2 outs. 3 hits in the inning, 12 in the game now for Atlanta, and now Rafael Belliard will be pinch hit for Mike Mordecai. No, Belliard batting in the 9-hole. The pitcher's spot due up now. Mordecai batting for the pitcher. Mordecai during the regular season hit .280 with 3 homers, 11 RBIs. Utility player, plays all 4 infield spots. Also played a couple of innings in the outfield. As a pinch hitter this year, Mordecai was 7 for 29. He had 1 pinch hit homer. Blocked by Girardi, ball 1. Runners are at first and second, 2 outs. Devereaux and McGriff are the runners.
Going to be quite a thrill for Mordecai. He spent a lot of time in the minor leagues.
This is outside the count 2-0. We told you about those 25 last inning victories scored by the Atlanta Braves. Mike Mordecai delivered one of them, an RBI single in the bottom of the 9th against Darren Holmes back on August 19th. Swing. Did he go? He did not, says Joe West. And the count goes to 3-0.
So you know that both of these guys remember that occasion. And that's probably why Holmes went to a breaking ball on 2-0 to a guy that you wouldn't ordinarily think is a big hitter.
Now a 3-0 pitch on the way to Mordecai. Back up the middle into center field for a base hit. Fred McGriff around third, heading home. Here's the throw by Kingery. The slide. He is safe. And the Atlanta Braves have taken a 5-4 lead. Mike Mordecai delivering a run-scoring single with 2 outs. And for the second night in a row, Atlanta trying to pull one out in the 9th inning here at Coors Field. Mordecai taking second on the throw home.
3-0 swinging on a fastball. He wraps it up the middle. And Kingery took a chance on a play at the plate. The throw was just wide enough to get McGriff in there. As he chugs down the line, takes a peek, and then slides in.
Just did get in ahead of the throw.
And taking that chance, all the other runners advance.
And you saw Rafael Belliard signal slide. Now Belliard steps in, grounds one to second. Young has it on to first, throws it away. 1 run is in. Here comes Mordecai down to second. Belliard, and the Colorado Rockies are self-destructing here in the top half of the 9th inning. The Braves now lead it 7-4. What a disappointing top half of the 9th inning for Don Baylor, and what an exciting top half of the 9th for that crew. That'll be another error charged to the Rockies. Their second tonight, their 6th in this series. And now Marquise Grissom.
The baseball is such an unforgiving game. The errors are so apparent to all. If there was a place Eric Young could hide, he would certainly find it. But there is no such place.
Here's the 0-1. Inside corner in the count, 0-2. The Rockies were so close to sending this series back to Atlanta all tied. Now they're going to have to rally for at least 3 in the bottom half of this inning just to tie the game. Now to play again, still 0-2.
The beauty of this inning, in one perspective, is that Chipper Jones, the heralded #1 draft pick, who did everything last night, started it. He cruised through the minor leagues right to the big leagues. Mordecai, the veteran that worked his way through, drove in the lead run. Now Holmes gets the strikeout, and the Rockies come to bat.
7-4 Atlanta as we go to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent from the Office of the Commissioner. Atlanta leading it 7-4 as we go to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Friday night at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. The playoffs continue with Game 3 of this division series. The scene shifts to Atlanta as the Braves play host to the Rockies. Now, some may see one of the other division series games. Check your local listings. Regional coverage of Game 3 begins Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And just a few minutes ago, it looked like Game 3 might be one of those key games in a 5-game series, with Smoltz against Swift in the series tied. But now that could be a clincher if Atlanta holds on here. And with a 3-run lead, they've brought in Mark Wohlers to try to close the deal.
He closed it last night, going over 100 miles an hour on most of his fastballs. Big difference here As Young fires his glove down, having allowed a couple of extra runs. A 1-run deficit doesn't look like much here with 1 inning to go, but 3 runs with Wohlers on the mound is huge.
Walt Weiss will lead off. He has struck out, walked, and lined out to short. 0-1 the count. Alejandro Pena was the winning pitcher last night, the beneficiary of the home run by Chipper Jones. Wohlers saved it for him. He is the pitcher of record, could be the winner here in game 2 if Wohlers can pick up the save. There's the breaking ball, the count even, 1 ball, 1 strike. Now let's see what's going on in some of those other tight ball games. Once again, here's Hannah.
It's a little less tight at Dodger Stadium now. Reds up 3-2, top of the 9th. Mark Guthrie on in relief. He gets Mark Lewis to ground to short for the putout at second, but then the run comes in to score on the fielder's choice, so the Reds now lead 4-2. Dodgers looking at an 0-2 hole going back to Cincinnati, Pete.
And back here at Coors Field, the Rockies crowd coming to life one more time.
Here we go again.
Walt Weiss, a leadoff single, and now John Vanderwall, who set a record this year with 28 pinch hits, came up last night in a bases-loaded situation, hit into a pitcher to catcher to first double play. Bob Gebhard, the general manager of this Colorado Rockies team, pacing in the GM's box, swinging a miss by Vanderwall, the count 0-1. This series, Larry, has had so many swings both ways. This game tonight, the first 5 innings, all Braves. As Tom Glavine was cruising along with a 3-0 lead, and Larry Walker suddenly got the Rockies back in it with a 3-run homer. Rockies took the lead in the 8th. Atlanta came back with a 4 spot in the top half of the 9th inning. Now the Rockies trying to get it going again. That's the same kind of thing we had happen last night, back and forth all night long.
Been that way in several of the other division series games as well.
They're not holding Weiss at first with a 3-run lead. Here's the 0-2. And the breaking ball caught the inside corner, strike 3 called.
It's such a wicked pitch. You're trying to lay off that high fastball, and then you realize too late that it's not a fastball as it drops into the zone.
And the real difference in Mark Wohlers this year, where he has nailed down the closer's spot for Atlanta, and the Mark Wohlers of past years, when he was very inconsistent while trying to become the closer, has been his ability to throw that pitch for strikes. Now Eric Young trying to atone for that huge error that opened the gates to 2 more runs in the top half of the 9th inning. At the plate tonight, he's 1 for 4.
Kingery would be next. The Rockies are hoping desperately that one of these next 2 hitters gets on base so they can get Dante Bichette to the plate.
Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way, and the fastball caught the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Again, the 1-1 high, ball 2, 2-1.
McGriff is playing in behind Weiss, but close in behind him. There would be a slight advantage to taking second base and taking that force play off, but there's also a slight chance in trying to do it.
Now the 2-1 pitch on the way. The inside corner, 2-2. Wohlers clocked as high as 103 miles an hour this year. As we mentioned last night, becoming, Larry, one of those guys every ballpark you go into is a Mark Wohlers story. He threw a pitch here once that we clocked at 102 or 103. You hear it everywhere you go. saves during the regular season. Here's the 2-2. Struck him out. Ball dropped by Lopez. Doesn't matter. First base is occupied. Second strikeout of the inning for Mark Wolders. And now it's all up to Mike Kingery. And these Rockies fans who have been so loyal all year long, leading the major leagues in attendance, packing this ballpark for the first two Rockies appearances in postseason play, maybe witnessing the final moments in this ballpark for the Colorado Rockies this year. If they fail to rebound here, it's a very, very difficult task to lose 2 games at home and then go on the road.
The Braves have been swept several times in Atlanta this year.
It has happened, but what a difficult task it is.
Kingery had a base hit off Wohlers in the 9th inning last night.
He's flying to left his only at bat tonight. Bouncing ball out towards second. Lemke on to McGriff, and the Atlanta Braves have taken a 2-0 lead in this best-of-5 series, doing it again with a 9th inning rally. 4 runs in the 9th inning, 2 of them coming in on errors, but the big blow, an RBI single by Mike Mordecai. Our final score in Game 2, the Atlanta Braves 7 and the Colorado Rockies 4. Tonight's Chevrolet Player of the Game is Mike Mordecai. He delivered the game-winning hit in that 9th inning as the Braves, for the second night in a row, score the winning runs in the 9th. In conjunction with this program, Chevrolet will contribute a total of $50,000 to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America in the names of all players of the game for the 1995 Major League Baseball season. Stay tuned to this NBC station for the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. That comes up right after your local news. And don't forget, Friday night postseason baseball continues at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 Pacific with Game 3 of the Division Series as the Colorado Rockies battle the Atlanta Braves. That one coming to you from Atlanta, Fulton County Stadium. Disappointing night for the Colorado Rockies. 2-0 Atlanta leads this series. For Larry Dierker, Pete Van Wieren. So long, everyone.
This telecast has been produced by the Baseball Network in association with NBC Sports.